jana vallabha girivardhari Gopi jana vallabha girivardhari Yashodanandana vrajajana ranjana Yashodanandana vrajajana ranjana Yamunatiro ona shadi Yamunatira vana chari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Govijana Vallabha Girivardhari Govijana Vallabha Girivardhari Yashodanandana vrajajana ranjana Yashodanandana vrajajana ranjana Yamunatira vana chari Kamana Tiravana Chari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jai Om Vishnupada Paramahansa Parivācakacārya Shatera Sata Srimad Jidandi Goswami Shilesi Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Jai Om Vishnupada Paramahansa Parivācakacārya Shatera Sata Srimad Srila Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Thakur Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrind Ki Jai ISKCON Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhaksha Vrinda Ki Jai Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shyama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai Shri Mayapur Dham Ki Jai Ganga Mayi Ki Jai Jamuna Mayi Ki Jai Tulsi Maharani Ki Jai Bhakti Devi Ki Jai Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. All glories to the Samadhivatis, all glories to the Samadhivatis, all glories to the Samadhivatis, all glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Jai Shri Prabhupada, Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Please allow me. All my seniors present, and you're all senior to me in some way. Please allow me to lead us in this exploration of Srimad Bhagavatam today, in the third canto, the chapter 21 and the verses 31. Kṛtvā dayāṁ ca jīveṣu dattvā cābhayam ātmavān mayy ātmānam saha jagad drakṣyasy ātmani cāpi kṛtvā dayāṁ ca jīveṣu dattvā cābhayam ātmavān mayi ātmānam saha jagat drakṣyasy ātmani cāpi kṛtvā dayāṁ ca jīveṣu dattvā cābhayam ātmavān mayi ātmānaṁ saha jagad drakṣyasy ātmani cāpi Others? jīveṣu cābhayam ātma-vān ātmānam saha jagad drakṣyasy ātmani cāpi. Ladies, kṛtvā dayāṁ jīveṣu cābhayam ātmavān ātmānam saha jagad drakṣyasy ātmani cāpi. kṛtvā dayāṁ jīveṣu cābhayam ātmavān ātmānam saha jagat drakṣyasy ātmani cāpi. Kṛtvā, having shown, dayāṁ, compassion, cha, and jīveṣu, toward living beings, dattvā, having given, cha, and abhayam, assurance of safety, ātmavān, self-realized, mayi, in me, ātmānam, yourself, saha jagat, along with the universe, drakṣyasy, you will perceive, ātmani, in yourself, cha, and api, also, mam, me. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Showing compassion to all living entities, you will attain self-realization. Giving assurance of safety to all, you will perceive your own self, as well as all the universes in me, and myself in you. Purport. This is a very long purport. And I was thinking, Prabhupada described these purports as his personal ecstasies. He would write these purports when we were all asleep. Right? We would all be just fast asleep, and he would get up, and in the seclusion of his room, I was thinking how nice it would be to know where was Srila Prabhupada when he wrote this purport. It's an extraordinary one. Perhaps we can find out somehow, I don't know. But he's in the quiet of night. And he's taking dictation as well. This verse itself describes how Kardama will achieve this perfection, and he will see, he says, you'll see myself in you. So, as we're entering into hearing this purport of Srila Prabhupada, let's just reflect on how this came to be. It's wonderful. Now, it's a very long one, so I will perhaps read and make some comments if Prabhupada inspires me to say something. please bless me that I may be his servant. Purport. The simple process of self-realization for every living entity, is described here. Of course, my first question is, every living entity? Usually we only think that it is the human beings that engage in self-realization. And yet, this process is for every living entity. So, whether it's in their current body or in a future body, it's the process. The first principle to be understood is that this world is a product of the supreme will. There is an identity of this world with the Supreme Lord. This identity is accepted in a misconceived way by the impersonalists. They say that the Supreme Absolute Truth, transforming himself into the universe, loses his separate existence. Thus they accept the world and everything in it to be the Lord. So this is one of the very impersonal perceptions of God. That God is everything. Yes, we accept. Everything is God. And there's no God except everything. There's no separate God from everything. Everything is God. God is everything. And that's it. Prabhupada says this is impersonal. Of course, we can ascribe personality to everything. This is done nowadays in the world when they say the universe is, how does it go? You know, the universe is directing, or the universe is giving, or the universe, it's, so in a slight way they're giving some sort of personality. Sometimes you say Mother Nature, right? Some slight personality, but nothing like the personalities that we have. Prabhupada says, transforming himself into the universe loses his separate existence. That is pantheism, where everything is considered to be the Lord. This is the view of the impersonalist. But those who are personal devotees of the Lord take everything to be the property of the Supreme Lord. Everything, whatever we see, everything, we should take the depth of this. That everything, absolutely everything, whatever we see is the manifestation of the Supreme Lord. Therefore, everything should be engaged in the service of the Lord. This is oneness. In our society, in our movement, in our sampradaya, we don't reject oneness. Though we are very, very critical of the Mayavadis, for whom oneness is the only thing. There's only oneness. We don't reject oneness. We accept that oneness. But we say that simultaneously there is difference. The difference between the impersonalist and the personalist is that the impersonalist does not accept the separate existence of the Lord, but the personalist accepts the Lord. He understands that although he distributes himself in so many ways, he has his separate personal existence. This is described in Bhagavad-gītā. Quote, I am spread all over the universe in my impersonal form. Everything is resting on me, but I am not present. There's a nice example regarding the sun and the sunshine. The sun and sunshine examples we've heard so often. Prabhupada repeats this example again and again and again because it really does help us to understand this. It's not easy for us to understand this oneness and difference. We want to see the difference or the oneness, but to see both oneness and difference, it's hard for us to bring into our conditioned, less intelligent way of thinking. So we need examples, we need analogies. The sun by its sunshine is spread all over the universe. One day, perhaps by the grace of Rameshwar Prabhu and his team, we'll know what a universe is. Right now I don't quite know what a universe is, but let's say the sun is spread all over it. And all the planets rest on the sunshine. But all the planets are different from the sun planet. One cannot say that because the planets are resting on the sunshine, these planets are also the sun. Similarly, the impersonal or pantheistic view that everything is God is not a very intelligent proposal. The real position, as explained by the Lord himself, is that although nothing can exist without him, it is not a fact that everything is him. It's him, it's not him. It's both him and not him. This is the achintya bheda bheda tattvā. Achintya. For us it's inconceivable. How is God simultaneously everywhere, present, everything is him, and yet he is separate? We get analogies to try to understand it, but our brains, our capacity is limited. He is different from everything. So here also the Lord says, you will see everything in the world to be non-different from me. This means that everything should be considered a product of the Lord's energy, and therefore everything should be employed in the service of the Lord. So this is, Prabhupada repeats this. He says in the earlier in this paragraph, he said, therefore everything should be engaged in the service of the Lord. And then here again, therefore everything should be employed in the service of the Lord. One's energy should be utilized for one's self-interest. That is the perfection of the energy. So now he's coming back to the principle of energy and energetic. That one who has energy, what's the purpose of that energy? Is to satisfy the one who has the energy. We all have energy, and the energy that we have, we utilize for our benefit. Now, Prabhupada is saying, well, this is all Krishna's energy. You are Krishna's energy. Everything is Krishna's energy. It's his energy. And if it's his energy, then naturally it's meant to be used for his benefit. Makes sense, right? The energy is to be used for the self-interest of the one who owns that energy. So one's energy should be utilized for one's self-interest. So take this in its full meaning. Now, the materialist will take this one to be me, but when we hear this, we know we're hearing that one is Krishna, because it's Krishna's energy. So therefore it's his self-interest. That is the perfection of the energy. This energy can be utilized for real self-interest if one is compassionate. Now Prabhupada is coming back to our energy. A person in Krishna consciousness, a devotee of the Lord, is always compassionate. He's not satisfied that only he himself is a devotee, but he tries to distribute the knowledge of devotional service to everyone. There are many devotees of the Lord who faced many risks in distributing the devotional service of the Lord to people in general. That should be done. I'm reminded, just hearing this, of two devotees who took perhaps there's not many that I know of who took such extraordinary risks. And those were Brahmananda and Gargamuni. Does anybody remember? I think it was 1972. I know it was just as the Bangladesh war was breaking out. So I think that must have been about 1972. So Prabhupada sends them to all places. This is before the war broke out, so it maybe is less extraordinary, to Pakistan. So Gargamuni goes to East Pakistan, and Brahmananda goes to West Pakistan, or the current Pakistan. And then the war breaks out, and somehow Gargamuni gets out. But Brahmananda, and he had one other devotee, I don't remember the name of the devotee. It could have been Rishi Kumar, but I don't remember. They're still in West Pakistan, and Srila Prabhupada is in Mumbai, and he gets, there's an article in the newspaper that two Western bhaktas, I don't know how they were described, have been arrested by the Pakistani army. And I think maybe the article actually said that they were going to be executed. Srila Prabhupada was so I'd have to go back and read this in I think it must be in Lilamrita, the story. Please do read. I ask this question in every class, so I'm going to do this now. How many of you have read the Srila Prabhupada Lilamrita? Good response. Good response. In many other places I've been, it's like 40%. If you haven't, we're entering into the beginning of our observance of ISKCON's 60th anniversary next year, and the following year, Srila Prabhupada's 50th anniversary of his Tirobhav. We should use this as a milestone in our own lives to cement and develop our relationship with Srila Prabhupada, beginning with making sure, rereading we've already read, and reading, if not, Srila Prabhupada's Lilamrita. So, anyway, the word is, and Prabhupada is just praying. Brahmananda describes what actually happens. Yes, they are captured by the army. And they're taken somewhere. And it looks like they're going to be set up to the firing squad. And Brahmananda turns to his companion, and says, Prabhu, we're going back to Godhead. He's got his beads in his hand. Said, look, we're going back to Godhead. Let's do it. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram. They're chanting and they're chanting, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. And the army general kind of looking, what's going on here? And I can't remember, maybe he gets a word or anyway. All right, get on that bus and get out of here. And they show up in Mumbai, and Prabhupada is so happy. They took such risks. There's one other great devotee, Ladini Shakti, who also took such risks to go and preach in Liberia. And that was a vicious civil war going on. Vicious civil war. The devotees were captured, and this time she went forward and she took the bullets. The devotees were saved, but she departed. This is all compassion. This is born out of true compassion. Compassion, I'm going to have to ask my revered, I don't know, I don't have a personal relative, but I find Bhakti-Vigyan Maharaj to be one of the most astute scholars of our Shastra and practitioners, and he recently was talking about emotions in our life, and how there are the mundane emotions, there's the core emotions that we all feel, that arise in the heart. Mainly it's, and Krishna talks about it, attachment, and then desire, attachment, and then it develops into anger. So all of these emotions are there in our mundane existence. But he was talking about how there's also spiritual emotions. There's the bhavas. Bhava directly means emotion. So there's all the various emotions in devotional life. And we aspire for that emotion. We aspire for the highest emotion, Krishna Prema. Krishna Prema, that is the ultimate emotional experience. Krishna Prema is not a mental experience. It's not an intellectual experience. It's the heart overflowing with love. Not love for oneself, but love for Krishna. Overflowing with love for Krishna. And he was talking about how in our world, the emotion that gets closest, is sort of, getting closer to the spiritual emotions, is the emotion of gratitude. The emotion of gratitude. This was a japa workshops, or japa, so he was asking after this, he was asking the devotees, please now chant, but chant with this, try to chant from your heart with gratitude. Compassion is also, real compassion is not simply an intellectual exercise. Oh yes, well, I should be compassionate. Yes, of course, that makes sense to be compassionate. I've got something that others don't have, and it's good, and they should have it. One can intellectually sort of, define compassion. But the compassion that we're speaking of here is felt compassion. It's a compassion that moves the devotee. to go out and share Krishna consciousness, regardless of all the impediments and risks that are involved. It is also said that a person who goes to the temple of the Lord and worships with great devotion, but who does not show sympathy to people in general or show respect to other devotees, is considered to be a third-class devotee. The second-class devotee, and that's we aspire for, is he who is merciful and compassionate to the fallen soul. The second-class devotee is always cognizant of his position as an eternal servant of the Lord. He therefore makes friendship with devotees of the Lord, acts compassionately toward the general public in teaching them devotional service, and refuses to cooperate or associate with the non-devotees. As long as one is not compassionate to people in general in his devotional service to the Lord, he is a third-class devotee. Kanishta adhikari. We want to rise up. We want to have this compassion. We can develop this compassion as we see who we are more and more, servants of Krishna. And as we see others as Krishna's children, we will naturally feel compassionate. The first-class devotee gives assurance to every living being that there's no fear of this material existence. Let us live in Krishna consciousness and conquer the nescience of material existence. It is indicated here that Kardama Muni was directed by the Lord to be very compassionate and liberal in his householder life, and to give assurance to the people in his renounced life. A sannyasi, one in the renounced order of life, is meant to give enlightenment to the people. He should travel, going from home to enlighten. The householder, by the spell of Maya, becomes absorbed in family affairs and forgets his relationship with Krishna. If he dies in forgetfulness, like the cats and dogs, then his life is spoiled. You can hear Prabhupada's compassion here. As we began, we were talking about how these purports, Srila Prabhupada is writing this. He's dictating. He's speaking this. He has no audience in front of him, but he's being moved internally by this compassion. If he dies in forgetfulness, like the cats and dogs, then his life is spoiled. It is the duty of a sannyasi, therefore, to go and awaken the forgetful souls with enlightenment of their eternal relationship with the Lord, and to engage them in devotional service. The devotee should show mercy to the fallen souls and also give them the assurance of fearlessness. I heard this just recently, and I'm not sure, I can't remember where a devotee once asked Srila Prabhupada, what is his experience while he's chanting the holy names of Krishna? And Srila Prabhupada paused. And then he said, no fear. No fear. He is Abhay Charanaravinda, after all. He is Abhay. But he's saying here how that same fearlessness, we can have this fearlessness There's a prayer of Prahlad Maharaj I think it's in the 5th canto, that I like to repeat every day. Om Namo Bhagavate Nadasinghaya Namastejase Avir Bhava Vajranakam Vajradangstram. The nakam, Vajra like thunderbolts. Vajranakam, nails like thunderbolts, teeth like thunderbolts. Vajradangstram. Karmashayo Randayo. Karma asha, my hope for karma, my desire for karma. Please, Lord, with your nails like thunderbolts and your teeth like thunderbolts, rip my desires for karma apart. Tamo grasso, remove all my ignorance. Om saha. And abhayam. Without fear, ātmani bhūishta, reveal yourself to me. Remove all fear. So this is what the devotees can give. They can give fearlessness, which is the greatest gift. In the Bhagavad-gītā, Krishna says that just a little progress on this path can remove the greatest fear. We all want to be free of fear. We have so many fears. What is our life? It's eating, sleeping, mating, and fearing. Prabhupada says, but he often says, translated as fearing. That's what we're doing in our material life. So the devotee, he can give fearlessness. A person, okay, now, where did I stop here? As soon as one becomes a devotee of the Lord, he is convinced that he is protected by the Lord. This is, again, Bhaktivedanta Maharaj was talking about this, I think it was him, talking about saranagati. And we hear there's 6 aspects of saranagati. But the root of that surrender is, was it gotripta? How does it go? Rakshisa? Yeah. To feel oneself always protected. Based on that, one can then do everything else. One will accept everything favorable and unfavorable because he knows, he's assured. I'm going to have to finish this purport, so I'm going to try to go a little faster now. Fear itself is afraid of the Lord. Therefore, what has he to do with fearfulness? To award fearlessness to the common man is the greatest act of charity. A sannyasi, or one who is in the renounced order of life, should wander from door to door, from village to village, from town to town, and from country to country, all over the world, as far as he's able to travel, and enlighten the householders about Krishna consciousness. Srila Prabhupada attempted this. He even came to Gainesville, where he said, what did he say? He said, this remote corner of the world. I was wondering why, because we lived in, you live in Gainesville, in Alachua, and they said, that's not so remote. But when he came, there was no airport. So he flew to Atlanta. Then from Atlanta, there was a flight to Jacksonville. And from Jacksonville, they took a car and came to Gainesville. So for him, it was like, whoa, this is a faraway place. I couldn't even get there by plane. I had to go one plane, another plane, and a car. Remote corner of the world. But Prabhupada went everywhere, wherever he could. as far as he able to travel, enlighten the households about Krishna consciousness. A person who is a householder but is initiated by a sannyasi has the duty to spread Krishna consciousness at home as far as possible. He should call his friends and neighbors to his house and hold classes in Krishna consciousness. Holding a class means chanting the holy name of Krishna and speaking from Bhagavad-gītā or Srimad Bhagavatam. There are immense literatures for spreading Krishna consciousness, and it is the duty of each and every householder to learn about Krishna from his sannyasi spiritual master. Could be a grihastha spiritual master too. There is a division of labor in the Lord's service. The householder's duty is to earn money, because a sannyasi is not supposed to earn money, but is completely dependent on the householder. The householder should earn money by business or by profession and spend at least 50% of his income to spread Krishna consciousness. 25% he can spend for his family, and 25% he should save to meet emergencies. This example was shown by Rupa Goswami, so devotees should follow it. Now you notice that I waited for this part of the purport until the class is almost over. So I have a good excuse to skip over and not delve into the intricacies of what do we do with this, householders. What is it, 50% of what? Is it everything, or is it what's left over, or is it... anyhow, we won't go there. We don't have time. Okay. Actually, to be one with the Supreme Lord means to be one with the interest of the Lord. This is oneness. Oneness in interest. And what is the ultimate oneness of interest? Radha and Krishna. Radha and Krishna are the ultimate oneness of interest. Love, 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 love. One to the other, back and forth. Becoming one with the Supreme Lord does not imply becoming as great as the Supreme Lord. It is impossible. The part is never equal to the whole. The living entity is always a minute part. Therefore, his oneness with the Lord is that he is interested in the one interest of the Lord. The Lord wants every living entity to always think about him. Manmana bhavamad bhakta. To be his devotee and always worship him. This is clearly stated in Bhagavad-gītā. Manmana bhavamad bhakta. Krishna wants everyone always to think of him. Everyone should always offer obeisances to Krishna. This is the will of the Supreme Lord. And devotees should try to fulfill his desire. Since the Lord is unlimited, his desire is also unlimited. There is no stoppage. And therefore the service of the devotee is also unlimited. In the transcendental world, there's unlimited competition between the Lord and the servitor. The Lord wants to fulfill his desires unlimitedly, and the devotee also serves him to fulfill his unlimited desires. There's an unlimited oneness of interest between the Lord and his devotees. Oneness, unlimited. Both of these are for us still achintya. To conceive of unlimited oneness, unlimited anything. Everything in our experience always has some limit, thankfully. There was a saying, someone said, I don't remember the source, but it said, what are the three words that bring happiness to the sad and sadness to the happy? Or 4 words. No. This too will pass. So if you're sad, this too will pass. But if you're happy, this too will pass. So that's our experience. That's our life. But there is another world. There's a world where that saying does not apply. Always happy. Even when we're not we're happy. Even in these so-called, pains of separation and so, there's somehow extraordinary happiness. This is still inconceivable to us, but because we have Prabhupada's mercy in the form of these wonderful purports that he's written, coming from his heart and his realization, we can surrender. We can give up our fear. Fear of... we were talking about this yesterday. My father was a scientist. And I could never talk to him about Krishna consciousness. He was very favorable to the movement. He gave money, he liked prasadam, loved to get garlands, came to Rath Yatra, so on. He even toward the end of his life, he was dying of cancer, so he knew he was dying. He liked to hear a little bit about Krishna stories. But philosophy, forget it. And my perception was that he was afraid. Because he was a scientist, he was dedicated to the pursuit of truth, that he might end up actually having to change his views about everything. He might have to just completely give up and he was satisfied with his world views. He'd worked things out, he had what he thought was a good life and was doing good for the world. He was a medical research, so many people have benefited from his research efforts. So he felt, why rock the boat? So I think we'll find that often, even perhaps in ourselves, that we're afraid to really step out of our comfort zone and really surrender. Really surrender. But we have Srila Prabhupada to guide us and to give us his mercy, and that mercy will awaken that same fearlessness that he demonstrated in his life, and which can remove all the impediments. So I'll end here. We still have 5 minutes for some questions, comments. I do want to, before I end though, I do want to thank whoever has done this. The last time I gave class here, and probably multiple times before that, I complained that this nice stand which we arranged for the Bhagavatam, which is very nice, although they should polish this copper plate, is high enough because it was too low before, and the Bhagavatam was lower than the speaker, which is not right. So thank you, whoever did this. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So if there are any comments, questions, reflections, corrections. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you for that class on one of Srila Prabhupada's longest purports.
It's a long purport.
So in the text, it is said that Kadamba is going to be able to see uncountable universes inside Krishna. Innumerable, uncountable universes. So that creates a disparity between the atomic soul being tiny, so tiny, and Krishna, who has universes inside him. There's like no comparison. So at the end of the purport, Prabhupada creates a different type of comparison, which is inconceivable when you look at the text. All of a sudden, souls in the spiritual world are having a competition with Krishna. Back and forth as if they're on a similar plane. So I was wondering if you might comment on that aspect, that going from insignificant compared to Krishna to competing. And what is that competition? Hare Krishna.
Yes. Let's read it. In the transcendental world, there is unlimited competition between the Lord and the servitor. Then Prabhupada continues, the Lord wants to fulfill his desires unlimitedly, and the devotee also serves him to fulfill his unlimited desires. So it seems that the competition, and then he said there is an unlimited oneness of interest between the Lord and his devotee. So unlimited means ever increasing also, and ever expanding, and ever. So the Lord's desires to engage with his devotees, they're unlimited, and the devotee is unlimitedly trying to satisfy those desires. The word competition is difficult to try to insert into this, because when we think of competition, generally we think of one is going to win and the other is going to lose. You know, the one's going to get over the other. There's like a greater one becomes greater than the other. So if we apply that here, is that the Lord's desire to enjoy with his devotees is growing, but the devotee's desire to satisfy the Lord is also growing, and it's continuously going above, and one is growing, the other's growing, and the other. It reminds me of the whole idea that of unlimitedness and of all powerfulness. It reminds me of the question that someone asked Srila Prabhupada once, that can God create an object that he can't lift? He's all powerful. Can he create something that he can't lift? And then Prabhupada's response was, yes. And then he'll lift it. So this competition seems to be that Krishna creates this wonderful opportunity for his devotees to serve, thinking, well, now let's see how you serve in this way. Can you excel? And the devotee excels. Oh, Lord, give me something more. Give me greater challenge. Oh, okay. And back and forth. We can just, for me at least, it's all beyond my even imagination. But as we hear about this world, then hopefully we can develop the desire to go there. And that's what's going to get us. Lobha, greed. We want it, we want it. I don't understand it, I can't perceive it, I can't really, it doesn't, it's incomparable. I mean, there's little comparisons I can make between my existence now and that spiritual existence, but it's really beyond but I believe it. It's there. It's Krishna. It's God. This is just a reflection. So, but let me go there. Let me be there. Let me be with Krishna. Let me be in His world. Let me serve Him there. Let me serve Him here so that I can serve Him there. I didn't think I answered your question, but I attempted.
You did answer the question, and Prabhupada is, by writing that one sentence, he's giving us the rarest glimpse of life in the spiritual world that we can't imagine. But the fact that a soul could give so much pleasure to God when the soul is so tiny and God is so great that it becomes a competition where God is actually getting real pleasure from that soul and then increasing what He is so that the soul will increase even more the pleasure He gives. This is wondrous.
Wondrous. Yes, it is wondrous.
So thank you, Hari.
It's so wondrous. So, it's 9, it says here, please finish the Srimad Bhagavatam class with Q&A and comments by 9 a.m.